Hi, I'm Andrew Wasson. Thanks for joining me for my weekly guitar blog. It's June 15th, 2014, and this week we're going to do a lesson on David Gilmour's scale concepts. Now, this week's question was sent in from Reid. He's out in Lincoln, Nebraska, and he wrote in with this email. I'm a huge Pink Floyd fan, and of course that means I'm also a fan of David Gilmour's guitar style. He plays extremely smooth, and I was wondering if you could break it down in a guitar lesson, what kind of scales he uses. While doing this, I was hoping that you could also demonstrate how he applies the scale shapes with maybe a few Gilmour-style guitar lick examples. Thanks from Reid in Lincoln, Nebraska, USA. Well, hey, thanks for writing in, Reid. You know, David Gilmour has an obvious love for the blues and for melodic sensibility. He seems to really enjoy taking a slightly unusual approach with the use of minor pentatonic scale as well as the blues scale. His real gift is his sense of phrasing and how he truly has mastered the art of making a personal statement with his tone and his approach to very melodic note selections. Now, one of his talents is for creating very moving solos with great use of his signature bend techniques and interesting Celtic overtones he has, like in his solo from the Pink Floyd song On the Turning Away. You may want to check that one out. But anyway, let's zoom in on the neck and run through a few details surrounding David Gilmour's scale concepts. Gilmour's guitar playing is largely based on the minor pentatonic scale. So in my first example, I've organized a popular 6-string root minor pentatonic. Here's how it sounds with the tonal center being that of D, creating a D minor pentatonic scale. It goes like this. It's a very popular shape. You may even know it already. But next I want to just add in the blues passing tone into that minor pentatonic in case you're not familiar with this shape. This winds up giving us a diminished fifth. It's just sandwiched between the perfect fourth and the perfect fifth. So it winds up giving us a chromatic passing line. It goes like this through the whole scale. Now, to achieve his quickly identifiable, sometimes people refer to it as a Celtic style sound, Gilmour enjoys the use of select tones from the Dorian mode, and his favorite being the major second degree. Off the key of D, that would give us either an E note up here, or we could have this E across here. And there's also one available here and one over that way as well. But basically that E note getting added in is a big part of Gilmour's sound. It just mixes it alongside the notes of the minor pentatonic. And you know, to get used to the Dorian scale, I'm going to get you to try playing through this pattern off of tonal center of D again. It's going to give us, of course, the D Dorian mode. It goes like this. All right, you can see right inside there too how that minor pentatonic is right along with that in the blues. It's a very cool way to execute a lot of these sounds that he uses. Now let's head into a few ways that Gilmour applies these sounds. And the first guitar lick example that I have is basically a D minor pentatonic scale idea. It's going to work alongside that major second a little bit. We're going to have that E note wrap up as the end of the lick. So we're going to start with a bend at the 13th fret. We're going to walk down at the end there. We'll have that G and that F and that E note wrap up the lick. Here it is again. One more time. It's a really nice sound coming into that E note. You'll probably recognize that too from a few Clapton tunes. But anyway, let's keep going. Gilmour cites, some of his, his main influences as Eric Clapton, Jimi Hendrix, Howlin' Wolf, and it's quite obvious since all those guitar players really shine through in Gilmour's style, and especially in his note selections. One of Gilmour's signature sounds is how he bends through scale tones as he builds a phrase. Now, in the next example I have, I'm using notes found directly behind some of the primary pentatonic tones, and I'm lifting into them by way of half-step bends. So we're going to start off here on the 12th fret. It's that E note. It's going to lift into that F note. And then we're going to come across here from this C note to the D. Jump to the 3rd string. Head over to the 2nd string. Wrap up on that A note at the end there. So here it is again. Now, the next area I wanted to address is that of timing. Gilmour has a really unique way of playing the beat in his phrases. His timing's often unusual, and he regularly comes at the beat from different angles as he performs a guitar lick. In the next example I have, I'm mixing 16ths with dotted eighth and staccato approach to create a very interesting broken rhythm through the guitar lick idea. So what we're going to start off with is we're going to have some pull-offs going 13-10, 12-10. Then we'll have the 13th fret C note on second string coming into the root there. So then a pull-off with a bend, pushing that C up into the D there that time. Then we're going to have our staccato part come along next, with a bend at the end there. So the whole thing will come together like this. You can tell I'm pulling down on that bend there too and offering a lot of vibrato to that. Check it out. Here's one more time. All right, let's go to the last lick I got for you now, last example. Here I'm going to place a focus on how Gilmour is a player that likes to spend time at discovering the strong melodic side to that pentatonic and all that it has to offer. You know, by adding some of that unique interval sound of the Dorian scale and mixing them against the blues-influenced bends from the minor pentatonic, we can achieve some very interesting, very colorful melody ideas as the end result. So here's the lick I have for you as the final guitar lick. We're going to do a pull-off idea, rolling over into that A. So it's like F to D to A, like so. Now here's the other interesting side of that. We have this little arpeggio idea. A really nice sound. And then we'll come across over to the D, have our bend at E, and then jump across here to the third string with the 12th fret bending full step up. Here it is. Here it is one more time. Well, as you can tell, the approach used by David Gilmour for the bulk of his scale ideas is largely based upon the blues scale in minor pentatonic, with a lot of reference to that major second degree that we can find from Dorian mode. It's quick to hear on many of his solos, such as the one he plays in the Pink Floyd song Yet Another Movie. If you've never heard that solo, check it out. Better yet, you should try learning it. That solo is largely pentatonic thrashing for the most part, but it's also full of feeling, and when we analyze the way he uses the blues, his bends, and the obvious strong connection he has toward players like Clapton, Jeff Beck, and the Muddy Waters and John Lee Hooker's sound, we end up with an instantly recognizable tone only associated to the David Gilmour style. Anyway, that's about all the time I have for today. As always, thanks for watching. Have yourself a great week, and I'll catch up with you next time. Bye for now.